side. We will go for the first example, the real world examples, what we have discussed. We will go that. What is the first real world example we have discussed, guys? I mean, the Hyderabad, right? Tirupati and Hyderabad, right? So at Kurnool, what will happen? Due to some unexpected, unwanted event, your car has been breakdown, right? So due to that, what will happen? Your entire plan has been disturbed. But anyway, you have to attend that Hyderabad event. Okay, let's suppose around it's 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. At any cost, you have to be there. That is very, very important. So if you are not there, what will happen? Okay, already we discussed, right? That is what big event, and most of the mass people has been gathered. Okay, okay. So now, and for that they spent lot of amount and furniture, everything, chairs. Okay, due to that lot of amount they has to be spent, right? So your presence is mandatory. So now, what he has to do? Some event is occurred, guys. Some issue has happened. Okay, so there is a breakdown, but he has to go anyway. He has to go, right? He has to go to Hyderabad. So what he has to do now? Okay, so now at Kurnool, he will contact some other, right? What do you call traveler, right? Car travels we have, right? Some other car travels he may approach, and he may engage what one car. Am I right or wrong? He will hire one more car. He will take one car for rent, right? He will book one car, and by using that car, okay, he will go to what, guys? Hyderabad. Understand? He will go to Hyderabad. Here, what, guys? There is an exception. Okay. How to handle that exception? There is a way. Understand? So here what? Car breakdown is what, guys? One exception. That is what? Unexpected, unwanted event. But anyway, he has to go to the target. What is his target? He has to go to Hyderabad. Understand? But something is happened. Okay? Something is happened at mid of his journey. But anyway, he has to go to what? Hyderabad. So what he has to do? So due to that exception, something, okay, that plan has been disturbed here. But anyway, he has to go to that Hyderabad. Right? To achieve the target, what he has to do? He has to look into other option, alternate way. Understand? So what is the alternate way here? He will book one more car at Kurnool. By using that car, he may go to Hyderabad. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Oh, please respond, guys. Right here, what? Exception handling. Now he's what he is doing? Okay, handling that issue. So there is an issue. Okay, so there is a what do you call? There is a hurdle here. So how to overcome that hurdle? Understand? How to overcome this hurdle is means what? Handling that hurdle, handling that issue. Understand? So this is what, guys? Exception. There is an exception raised. So if an exception is raised, we have to handle that exception. Okay. Instead, abnormal termination of the program. What we need finally? Graceful termination of the program. Of course, there is an exception is raised, but due to that exception, what is happening now? Okay, the entire plan has been broken, as the entire plan has been cancelled. Okay, this is what abnormal termination. So if he did like that, what will happen? So lot of money wasted. Okay, so I mean the people in Hyderabad, how they are gathering all these people and everyone get disturbed. Okay, so now this is what abnormal termination, right? So now to handle that issue, okay, so he is doing what, guys? He is choosing another way. This is what finally graceful termination. Understand? So finally, what will happen? Finally, at any way, he will reach to Hyderabad at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. He attended that event. Okay. Finally, the event went well. So at the end of the day, what it is? Graceful termination, not abnormal termination. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Clear, right? So
Yeah,
now,
clear.
see, now come to our technical. See, at the 60th thousand line of code, what will happen? some exception is raised. So due to that, what will happen? The program, the complete application has been terminated abnormally. Okay, abnormally means what? You will not get any result out of it. Okay, even the end user also is getting what? Full of technical errors in the console. But by seeing this technical errors, you don't know what he is doing. Okay, he is afraid little bit by seeing those all the error messages. What happening like, because he's not a techie. Understand? So what will happen definitely? So if you handle, if you write the applications, right? If you implement the any kind of application in such a way, definitely you will lose what, guys? Business from the customers. Am I right or wrong? Okay. No one will approach you to develop their requirements, guys. No one will approach, right? If you are not doing properly, why the customers has to approach you? They will not approach. Okay. So no, finally. So there is an exception is raised. Okay. There is an exception is raised. So now, instead throwing these console messages, right? So what we have to do? We have to, right? We have to inform the claimant, hey boss, so there is a technical error. Understand? So due to that, your payment, okay, your payment is not processing. Don't wait. We will refund your payment within 1 or 2 working days. So if you display that message, what end user? Yeah, end user will know the language, right? So by reading that statements, he will become okay, happy. Okay, something is happening. Okay, so that's what I think our order has been cancelled. Don't worry, even amount deducted also within 1 or 2 days, you will receive. I will receive. Like that, he will think. Am I right or wrong? Okay, instead of showing these sticky errors, what we are showing, okay, one layman statements, okay, one fruitful messages. Understand? Come on, guys. Fruitful messages here. So by seeing that what, okay, layman also will happy. I mean, the customer also will happy. Am I right or wrong? So here, once the exception is raised, we have to handle that exception. We have to handle the exception. Okay, instead abnormal termination of the program. Okay, so what we have to do? We have to achieve graceful termination of the program. Understand? Let's suppose at 60th line of code we have an exception, guys. Total how many lines of code we have? 1 lakh lines of code we have. At 60,000 lines of code we have an exception. Okay, so now we have to what? Handle that exception. If you are not handle the exception, what will happen? Abnormal termination, you will see end of the result. I mean the technical errors. So now we are handling that exception. Okay, hey boss, this is an error. We will what we are providing alternate way. Okay, we are providing what, guys? Alternate way. So there is a way. That way I have an exception, right? To handle that exception, we are providing what? Alternate way to continue the rest of the program gracefully. So finally, what do we need? Graceful termination of the program. Understand? So let me explain you in this way. Let's suppose at Hyderabad, I mean, we have a file, right? Water list file, something. So maybe at runtime, right? We are not able to found that Hyderabad file. Am I right or wrong? So due to that, what will happen? The program will be terminated abnormally. I mean, end of the day, you will not, okay, you will not read the complete water list, guys. Right? What is our program goal? We need to read the water list. That is the program. But we are not able to read because what? The file is not available. So that is an exception. But end of the program, we have to read the file. So there is a backup. Let's suppose in Hyderabad, if that water list file is not available, maybe in Chennai also there is a server machine. So there also we are putting what? Water list backup. Understand? So now there is an exception. To handle that exception, what we are doing now? Hey boss, let's suppose, yes, we know there is an exception at Hyderabad server machine. Please take Chennai server machine file. Please read Chennai machine also. There is a file called water list. You can read that file and you can continue the rest of the program. Understand guys here? What is an exception handling means?
Yes, sir.
While reading the particular file which is available in Hyderabad city, there is a server machine. In that server machine, the particular file is available. So what is the program motto? We need to read that water list file, right? So where initially we are pointing to Hyderabad city. In Hyderabad city, there is a server machine. But all of a sudden, something is happened. Unwanted, unexpected event is happened. Due to that, what will happen? We are not able to read the file which is available in Hyderabad city server machine. So what will happen due to that? An exception is raised. File not found exception is raised. If you are not handle that exception, what will happen? End of the day, the program will be terminated abnormally. You cannot read, right? So water list from that file. Come on. So now there is an exception. So now we have to handle that exception. If you handle that exception, what happened at the end of the day? The program will be terminated gracefully. If the program terminated gracefully means you will see what result. The program terminated abnormally means what you will see? You will not see the actual result. You will see what guys? Errors. Understand?
Yes.
So in order to achieve graceful termination, what we have to do, even
Handling.
an exception is raised also, we have to handle that exception. Understand? So what is the handling exception here? So there is a problem at Hyderabad city, okay, machine, I mean the file. So now in order to read Hyderabad city file, there is an exception. To handle that exception in the exception handling logic, what we have to provide? Okay, hey boss, yes, I understood. There is an exception while reading file at Hyderabad city. Please read another file which is available in Chennai city. Please read that file. Now in exception handling logic, what we are doing? In order to read Hyderabad city, now we are reading what? File which is located at Chennai city. Understand? Now the rest of the program, what will happen? Executed normally, and finally you will see what guys? It's here what? Graceful termination of the program. Finally you will see the result. Understand everyone? What is exception handling means?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here
Yes, sir.
Exception handling is we are not fixing the exception, guys. Okay, you have to understand one thing here. We are not fixing the exception. Okay, we are providing alternate way to continue the rest of the program normally. Understand? Exception handling is nothing but we are providing alternate way to continue the program normally. So finally, what we need? Graceful termination of the program we need. To achieve graceful termination, we are providing alternate way, right? Alternate way to complete the program normally. Here, we are not providing fix for that exception. Hope you people understood. We are providing alternate way. We cannot fix the exception, guys, at that time. There is an exception is raised. Exception is raised means what will happen? So definitely the program will be terminated abnormally. In order, okay. So now to stop that program terminated abnormally, what we are providing? Alternate way. Okay, that alternate way is nothing but what, guys? Exception handling logic. Understand? Hope you people understood.
Yeah.
Okay, here. No. So if any exception is raised, what we need to do? It is highly recommended to handle that exception. Am I right or wrong? If you're not handling that exception, right, everything will be gone. Right? So the main objective of exception handling is what, guys? Graceful termination of the program. Okay? Hope you people understood. what is an exception? What is an exception handling? Tell me, guys.
Yes, sir.
Clear,
Yes, sir.
everyone? Do you have any
Yes,
question here? Now, if any exception is raised, okay, so what we have to do, guys? We need to handle that exception. It is highly, tell me, it is highly recommended, right? Recommended to handle the exception. To handle the exception, guys. Right? It is highly recommended to handle the exception. Okay? So now, what is the main objective of exception handling here? The main objective of exception handling is graceful termination of the program. Am I right or wrong? Instead, abnormal termination of the program, right? So the graceful termination of the program. The main objective of exception handling is graceful termination of the program. Okay? No. So here, what is the meaning of exception handling, guys? Exception handling does not mean repair an exception, right? So we have to define an alternate way to continue the rest of the program normally is called exception handling. Come on, guys. Understand? So for example,
Yes, sir.
if our program requirement is to read the data from the Hyderabad file, locating in, some file locating in Hyderabad. At runtime, okay, if that file is not available, okay, so then the program will be terminated abnormally, right? So now, in order to achieve graceful termination, what we have to do? We have to provide another file which is located at what? Chennai, to continue the rest of the program normally, right? So this way of defining is what? An alternative, right? This way of defining is nothing but what? At an alternative way is nothing but what will happen, what it is, guys? Exception handling. Am I right or wrong? Come on, guys.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so no. So what is the meaning of exception handling, guys? People will ask you, what is the meaning of exception handling? Exception handling does not mean repairing of an exception, guys. We are not repairing the exception, right? We are providing alternate way to continue the rest of the program normally when the exception is raised. This is called what? Exception handling. Okay. So now let me write example. Yeah. So now I know you don't know anything about try and try catch and finally. Okay, we will discuss. Don't worry. So now this is the example. Here what my program. Here is the program. So read data from, okay, read data from Hyderabad file. Hyderabad file. Understand? So now what will happen while reading Hyderabad file? There is an exception, right? There is a exception while reading what? Hyderabad file. So now to handle the exception, we need to handle that exception. Otherwise, what will happen? The program will be terminated abnormally. We should not terminate abnormally, right? So now here, what kind of exception we are getting? File not found exception. File not found exception, guys. Okay. So while reading Hyderabad file, okay, somehow something is happening. The Hyderabad file is not available. So what you will get? File not found exception we will get. To handle that file not found exception, so right, we have to handle that exception. Otherwise, what will happen? Your program will be terminated abnormally, right? So now here we are providing what? Alternate way, exception handling logic. So use Chennai file. Okay, to continue what? Rest of the program. Understand, guys? So now here is what, guys, this is exception handling logic. This is what, guys, exception handling logic. So after that, what we have remaining lines of code. So these remaining lines of code, what will be executed? Okay, the remaining lines of code will be executed, guys. Understand, everyone? So here what
Yes,
I'm
sir.
saying,
Yes, sir.
so like that we have lines of code, guys, right? See here, this is what first line, let's assume line number 1. Okay, so like that 1 lakh lines of code we are thinking, right? Let's suppose 1000 lines of code. So here at the, this is what, let's assume this is what at line number 500. At line number 500, while executing line number 500, okay, so what we are getting, file not found exception we are getting. The line number 500 is all about what? Reading the Hyderabad file, locating the Hyderabad file. So, but there is no Hyderabad file. So what we will receive, file not found exception we will receive, right? If you are not handling that exception, what will become? The program will be terminated abnormally. After 500 line, how many lines of code we have? Another 500 lines of code we have. Those 500 lines of code will be executed if any exception is raised, will not be executed, guys. Understand? So this is what this program, 1000 lines of program, guys. Okay. So what is this program all about? To read the file from which is located in Hyderabad. Okay. For Hyderabad, there is a server machine. So we have to read that particular file, read data from that particular file. That is the program. But now from line number 1 to 500 lines of the code will be executed, okay, properly. There is no issue. So at the line number of 500, while executing 500 line, okay, so at the time, okay, we are getting what? One exception. So what kind of exception it is? File not found exception. The 500 line, okay, the code what we have written, right? So what all about that code means, I mean that line means it is locating that file, okay, but while locating the file, there is no file. So that's what it is raising, what? File not found exception is raising, right? So if you're not handling this exception, the file not found exception, what will happen? Remaining after 500, how many lines of code we have? Again, another 500 lines of code we have. So those 500 lines of code will be executed, will not be executed, guys, because at the 500 line of code, we will get what? Exception. If an exception is raised, means what will happen? The program will be terminated abnormally from there onwards. The remaining lines of code will not be executed. If all the lines of code will be executed, then only you will get what? Result. That is what? Graceful termination of the program. But here what will happen due to this exception? The remaining lines of code will not be executed, right? If the remaining lines of code will not be executed, means what? It will become what, guys? Is graceful termination or abnormal termination? Abnormal termination, right? So you will receive what? Lot of errors, console errors. Do we see any result here? You will not see any result. Come on, guys, please respond. I'm asking you only.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
Right?
sir.
So now, yeah. So now, fine. So now at line number 500, we have an exception, right? So now, what is our motto? Graceful termination. Instead, abnormal termination. So now, in order to achieve graceful termination means what we have to do? We have to handle that exception. Understand? If you handle that exception, the remaining lines of code will be executed normally, right? So now we are providing what? Handling, exception handling. Now we are doing exception handling for that exception. So what is an exception handling logic here? Here we are writing in catch block, okay? Use Chennai file to continue rest of the program normally. Okay, so there is no file in Hyderabad. Please use and Chennai location. There is a file. Please read that file. Okay. After that, please continue the rest of the program normally. Okay. The program will be terminated gracefully, and finally you will see the what result. So this is what, guys, exception handling. Here we are not fixing the exception. We are not repairing the exception. Exception handling is all about what, guys? Provide alternative way to continue the program normally. Okay. So hope you people understand what is an exception handling. Okay. Don't worry. We will
Yes,
see
sir.
what is this try block, what is this catch block, finally block. We will see in detail. So here, what is my motto? To understand what is an exception handling. What is an exception? What is an exception handling? Come on, guys.
Yes, sir.
Clear, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.